Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive into feminine energy.
Oh, absolutely.
We're going to be unpacking Tam Kaur's YouTube video, How to Radiate Feminine Energy to Live a Soft Life.
Sounds amazing.
It's a long title, but the video is packed with some really interesting ideas about, well, feminine energy.
Right, right.
I think a lot of you are probably here because you're looking to kind of figure out, how do you embody this energy? How can it really impact your life?
For sure. And dating especially, I think.
Especially your dating life, yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the first things that Kaur really emphasizes in the video is that feminine energy isn't just about being, girly. It's not about fitting into some stereotype of what it means to be feminine.
Yeah, exactly. It's not about wearing pink and being super submissive and it's something much deeper than that.
Right. It's like this energy that's already within you.
Yeah, and it's, really about receiving and letting go of control, nurturing yourself, and really expressing your emotions authentically.
Yeah, and that's actually something that I used to get confused about.
Yeah.
I used to think feminine energy meant being passive, just kind of going with the flow and not really having any strong opinions or boundaries.
Yeah, I see.
But Kaur totally flips that idea on its head.
Yeah.
She talks about qualities like, compassion and trust and creativity. But she also mentions strong boundaries, which to me that actually sounds pretty powerful, not passive at all.
Exactly. And that's where I think the misconception lies. These qualities actually allow you to prioritize your own fulfillment. You're not bending over backwards trying to please everyone.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to force things to happen.
Right.
You're instead you're just radiating confidence and self-assurance, which honestly can be incredibly attractive.
Okay, so let's talk about the dating stuff now.
Yeah, let's get to the good part.
I think a lot of us are curious about how this whole feminine energy thing actually plays out in our dating lives. And Kaur, she gets real about how embracing feminine energy can completely change the dynamic.
For sure. She argues that it's not about chasing men or trying to, impress them. It's about shifting that focus inward to self-love and letting go of that need to control every aspect of the dating game.
Okay, so instead of stressing over crafting the perfect text message or, planning these elaborate dates, you're just focusing on yourself.
Exactly.
That almost sounds too good to be true.
I know, right. It might seem counterintuitive, but think about it this way. When you're confident and comfortable in your own skin, you naturally draw people to you. It's that magnetic energy that Kaur talks about.
Yeah, okay, I get it. So she even goes so far as to say, the less you give, the more you receive. She's saying you shouldn't put any effort in dating at all.
That's a great question, and it's important to understand the context here. She's specifically talking about the early stages of dating,
right.
not long-term relationships. In the beginning, it's about allowing the man to step into the chaser role,
right.
to pursue you, to plan the dates, to show that he's truly interested.
Because you are the prize.
I love that.
You got it, exactly.
But how does embracing feminine energy actually encourage men to step into that masculine energy?
Well, think of it like a dance.
Okay.
When you step back and allow space for the man to lead, you create this natural balance. And Kaur illustrates this by she compares feminine and masculine energies.
Right. She makes this really interesting comparison, to show how those energies complement each other.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through that a little bit?
Sure. So she contrasts traits receiving versus doing, expressing emotions versus problem solving.
Okay, yeah. So feminine energy is about allowing yourself to be pursued, nurtured and provided for, while masculine energy kind of thrives on taking action, solving problems, and taking the lead.
So it's not about one being better than the other.
No, not at all.
It's about recognizing the strengths of each and how they can work together.
Absolutely, yeah. And this is where Kaur gets, pretty passionate about dismantling the 50-50 mentality in relationships. She gives some really thought-provoking examples of how pushing for an equal split in every aspect can actually create an imbalance.
Yeah. I've definitely seen that play out in real life. When a guy offers to pay for dinner and the woman insists on splitting the bill, even if it makes him uncomfortable.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. And Kaur argues that this this 50-50 approach, while, it's well-intentioned, it can actually negate the provider mentality that's often associated with masculine energy.
So it's almost like you're rejecting his efforts to step into that role.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so now this is where I think things get a little bit more personal.
Mm.
Kaur talks about this idea of wounded feminine energy.
Uh-huh.
And this feels like something that a lot of us can, probably relate to, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What exactly does she mean by that?
So it's a really powerful concept, and it's not about lacking feminine energy altogether. It's more about having blocks, or wounds that prevent you from expressing it fully.
Okay.
And this can stem from, past hurts, societal conditioning, or even like the way you were raised.
So it's like we've been taught to suppress or deny parts of ourselves, making it feel unnatural to actually embrace our feminine energy.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And this can manifest in various ways, often leading to low-value dating experiences where you might find yourself constantly chasing after validation or settling for less than you deserve.
Yeah. Kaur actually gives a whole list of signs that you might have this wounded feminine energy.
Yeah.
Things like insecurity, neediness, codependency.
Yeah. She also mentions things like insecure attachment styles and even manipulation. And it's important to remember that these behaviors, they often stem from a place of pain and are usually unconscious attempts to protect yourself.
Right. So it's like you're operating from a place of scarcity and fear rather than, abundance and self-love.
Exactly, yeah. And Kaur contrasts this with what she calls the lucky girl syndrome.
Right.
Which, this isn't about blind optimism.
Right.
It's about believing in your inherent worthiness and expecting good things to come your way.
Okay, so we've kind of identified the problem. Now what can we actually do about it? Kaur, thankfully, she provides a really clear action plan, habits to embrace and habits to reject.
Right.
Can you break those down for us?
Of course. So the habits to embrace are all about, nurturing yourself and setting healthy boundaries. Think meditation, self-care, open communication, and really owning your confidence.
Those all sound pretty good. What about the things we should be saying no to?
We're saying no to suppressing our feelings, people-pleasing, overworking ourselves to the point of burnout, and anything that, diminishes our self-worth. It's about prioritizing our well-being and creating a life that feels good, on every level.
Yeah. This all sounds fantastic, in theory, but what does it actually look like to live a more feminine lifestyle? How do we integrate these ideas into our everyday lives?
That's a great question. One thing that really struck me about Kaur's video was how she emphasizes the importance of balancing feminine and masculine energies, not just in relationships, but within ourselves.
Well, within ourselves.
Yeah, it's not about choosing one over the other,
right? But
finding that sweet spot where both can coexist.
That makes a lot of sense because, we all have both energies within us.
Right.
And suppressing one in favor of the other.
Yeah.
It's just going to create an imbalance.
Totally.
So how do we find that balance? What does that look like?
Well, she uses herself as an example.
Uh-huh.
She's clearly very ambitious and driven.
Yeah.
But she also makes time for self-care, allows herself to be vulnerable, and knows how to receive.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that you can be both strong and soft, ambitious and nurturing, independent and receptive.
And I think a lot of us struggle with that.
I agree.
Especially in today's world where we're constantly bombarded with these messages about hustle culture and achieving more.
Yeah.
And it can feel like we have to sacrifice our femininity to be successful.
Totally. And I think that's why Kaur's message is so powerful.
Yeah.
She's showing you that you don't have to choose. You can chase your dreams and have a soft life. It's about redefining success and aligning it with your values.
So how do we break free from these limiting beliefs and these societal expectations that tell us we can't have it all?
It starts with awareness, I think.
Okay.
Recognize those thoughts and patterns that are holding you back. For example, maybe you constantly feel the need to prove yourself or overwork yourself to feel worthy.
Yeah.
those are signs that you might be, out of balance and relying too heavily on your masculine energy.
Okay, so what can we do to shift that balance?
Well, remember those practical tips that Kara gave us.
Yeah.
Let's revisit them because they're all about cultivating more feminine energy in your everyday life.
Sure.
The first one was embracing the lucky girl syndrome and the power of manifestation.
Yes. I'm still fascinated by that idea.
Right.
So how do we actually put that into practice?
Yeah.
Is it just about thinking positive thoughts?
It's more than just wishful thinking.
Okay.
It's about shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you focus on what you want to attract.
Okay.
You start believing that good things are coming your way and that you are worthy of receiving them.
So it's about cultivating a sense of self-belief
Yeah.
and trust in the universe.
Exactly. And when you combine that with aligned action,
Okay.
meaning taking steps towards your goals, that's when the magic really happens.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just about, sitting back and waiting for good things to fall in your lap.
Right.
You have to be, actively creating the life that you desire.
Yeah.
What was your second tip?
Her second tip was all about scheduling self-care as if it were a non-negotiable appointment. I think this is a game changer for so many people.
Right.
We often put ourselves last on the list,
Yeah.
thinking we'll get to it when we have time.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if you don't make time for it, it won't happen.
I'm definitely guilty of that.
Yeah.
I always prioritize work, family, everything else before my own well-being. But I'm realizing how important it is to make that shift.
Yeah, it's essential.
Yeah.
And it's not selfish.
Right.
When you prioritize your well-being, you show up as a better version of yourself in all areas of your life.
Right.
So make time for those activities that nourish your soul, whether it's taking a walk in nature, listening to your favorite music, or simply taking a few minutes to meditate.
I'm definitely making a self-care appointment in my calendar as soon as we're done recording this.
Yeah.
What about Kaur's third tip?
Her third tip was about processing your emotions instead of suppressing them.
Okay.
This is a huge one.
Yeah.
And it ties back to the concept of receptivity.
Right.
Feminine energy is all about allowing yourself to feel and express your emotions fully.
So instead of bottling everything up,
Yeah.
we should be leaning into those emotions.
Yes.
Even the uncomfortable ones.
Exactly. It's about creating space for your emotions to flow through you rather than trying to control them.
Mm-hmm.
Journaling, talking to a therapist, dancing, or even just crying it out.
Right.
These are all healthy ways to release pent-up energy and process what you're feeling.
And I think that's a really powerful message for women,
Yeah.
especially those who've been conditioned to be nice and agreeable all the time.
Right.
We're often taught to suppress our anger, sadness, or any emotion that might be perceived as negative.
Right. And that kind of emotional repression can be incredibly damaging.
Yeah.
It can lead to resentment, burnout, and a disconnect from our true selves.
So how can we start to embrace our emotions more fully?
Mm-hmm.
It feels scary to let go of that control.
Start small.
Okay.
Maybe it's just allowing yourself to cry when you feel sad instead of trying to hold it back.
Okay.
Or journaling about your feelings for 5 minutes each day.
Mm-hmm.
The key is to create a safe space for yourself to be vulnerable and authentic.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's about building that trust with ourselves and allowing those emotions to surface without judgment. And I think this all ties back to the idea of self-love that we talked about earlier.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
When you love and accept yourself fully, you allow yourself to feel the full spectrum of human emotions.
Right.
You don't judge yourself for feeling sad or angry or frustrated.
Right.
You allow those emotions to be there, and then you let them go.
So we've talked about a lot of really important things here.
Yeah.
We've explored how to find that balance between feminine and masculine energies within ourselves.
Right.
We've revisited Kaur's practical tips for cultivating more feminine energy, and we've touched on the importance of emotional expression and self-love.
Yeah.
What are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that embracing your feminine energy is not about becoming someone new.
Mm-hmm.
It's about shedding those layers of conditioning.
Yeah.
And allowing your authentic self to shine through.
It's about recognizing that you are already whole and complete just as you are.
Exactly. And it's about giving yourself permission to be soft and strong, ambitious and nurturing, independent and receptive. It's about finding that beautiful balance within yourself.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be kind to yourself along the way.
Yes.
There's no right or wrong way to do this.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you and allowing yourself to evolve and grow.
Now, I know we've been focusing a lot on the personal aspects of feminine energy,
Yeah.
but Kaur also touches on how it can impact other areas of our lives,
Right.
like our careers and our relationships with others.
Uh,
Should we delve into that a bit more?
oh, yeah, definitely. It really is all interconnected.
Yeah.
I remember how we were talking about feminine energy being about receiving, nurturing, and creating.
Right.
Those qualities can be super valuable in the workplace, too.
That's true. And I think sometimes we're almost encouraged to suppress those qualities in a professional setting.
Oh, and yeah.
We're told to be assertive, competitive, always on.
Yeah, I get that.
But Cora, she seems to be suggesting a different approach. So what does that look like?
Well, it's not about abandoning those, more quote-unquote masculine qualities altogether.
Right.
It's about, finding that balance again.
Right.
Like imagine bringing that elaborative spirit, that intuition and that creativity to the table.
Yeah.
It's about building genuine connections, inspiring others, and leading with empathy.
It's about bringing your whole self to work, not just some version of yourself that you think you should be.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you lead with that authenticity and allow yourself to receive support and collaboration, you might be surprised at how much more you achieve and how much more fulfilling your work becomes.
Okay, so we've talked about dating, we've talked about careers. What about other relationships? How does embracing feminine energy affect our interactions with our friends, family, even strangers?
Well, remember that core principle of nurturing. It extends beyond just, taking care of yourself.
Okay.
It's about cultivating deeper, more meaningful connections.
Yeah.
It's about, listening with your heart, offering support, and being present in those relationships.
It's about showing up authentically and allowing yourself to be vulnerable with the people that you care about.
Yeah, exactly. And think about the quality of receiving.
Okay.
It's not just about being on the receiving end of support or love. It's about being receptive to other people's perspectives, their emotions, their experiences. It's about, opening yourself up to deeper connections.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space for genuine connection and understanding.
For sure.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what are some final thoughts that you want to leave our listeners with?
I think the most important thing to remember is that this journey is about coming home to yourself.
Yeah.
It's about peeling back those layers of conditioning and rediscovering the powerful, radiant woman that you already are.
It's about unleashing that inner goddess and allowing her to really shine.
Yes.
Exactly.
And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Exactly. Be gentle with yourself along the way.
Yeah.
There's no right or wrong way to do this.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you and allowing yourself to evolve and grow.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
It really has.
I feel like I've learned so much, not just about feminine energy, but about myself.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear.
And thank you to you, our listener, for joining us on this journey.
Yes, thank you for listening.
We hope this deep dive has inspired you to embrace your own feminine energy.
Yes.
And create a life that feels aligned, authentic, and truly fulfilling. Absolutely.